Around 1600 BCE, Akrotiri was a thriving coastal city on the volcanic island of Thera. It was active, organized, and connected to Bronze Age trade across the Aegean. The city showed no signs of war, famine, or internal collapse at the time it was abandoned. Daily life continued normally, supported by stable infrastructure and reliable access to resources. Multi-story buildings lined the streets, equipped with advanced drainage and sanitation systems. This was a city designed to function efficiently, not one struggling to survive. There is no evidence that Akrotiri declined slowly over time. Instead, the city's normal rhythm appears to have stopped within a very short period. Unlike many ancient cities, Akrotiri was not destroyed through gradual failure or conquest. Its disappearance was sudden, decisive, and driven by forces outside human control. What makes Akrotiri truly unsettling is that the city was never rebuilt or resettled afterward. A place that should still exist simply vanished from the map. Around 1600 BCE, Akrotiri stood on the island of Thera, a volcanic landmass in the southern Aegean Sea. Its position placed the city along major Bronze Age maritime routes. These sea routes connected Akrotiri to Crete, mainland Greece, and the eastern Mediterranean. The city functioned as a hub within a much larger trading system. The island itself provided both opportunity and risk. Volcanic soil supported agriculture, but instability was built into the landscape beneath the city. Akrotiri was shaped by the sea more than by land. Its economy, movement, and survival depended on maritime access rather than inland resources. Unlike inland cities, Akrotiri had little buffer from changes in its environment. When the sea or the land became unstable, the entire system was exposed at once. This geography allowed Akrotiri to grow quickly and function efficiently. It also meant that when conditions changed, there was nowhere for the city to retreat. Around 1600 BCE, Akrotiri functioned as a fully planned urban environment rather than a loosely grown settlement. Its layout reflected long-term organization instead of short-term adaptation. Many buildings in Akrotiri rose 2 or 3 stories high, an unusual feature for Bronze Age cities. This vertical construction maximized space without compromising stability. The city was equipped with an advanced drainage and sanitation system built directly into its architecture. Wastewater and rainwater were managed through stone channels beneath the streets. Interior spaces were designed for daily life rather than ceremonial display alone. Kitchens, storage rooms, and work areas were integrated into residential buildings. Wall paintings preserved inside the city depict scenes of nature, trade, and routine activity. These images suggest continuity and normalcy rather than crisis or decline. Storage facilities and workshops indicate a city prepared for steady economic flow. Goods were processed, stored, and redistributed through controlled systems. Nothing in the city suggests gradual failure or internal breakdown. Akrotiri appears to have been functioning efficiently right up to the moment it stopped. Shortly before 1600 BCE, Akrotiri experienced strong earthquakes linked to volcanic activity on Thera. Buildings were damaged while the city was still occupied. Archaeological layers show that earthquake damage occurred before volcanic ash buried the city. This sequence is clearly visible in collapsed walls sealed beneath later ash deposits. When the city was excavated, houses were found empty rather than frozen with occupants inside. The absence of human remains distinguishes Akrotiri from sudden disaster sites like Pompeii. Valuable objects such as tools, vessels, and personal goods were largely removed from homes. This pattern indicates preparation rather than abandonment under immediate panic. Taken together, these findings indicate that much of the population left Akrotiri before the main eruption. The departure occurred under escalating natural stress, not during the eruption itself. This was not a sudden flight from disaster, but a measured response to worsening conditions. The city was intentionally vacated, while evacuation was still possible. Akrotiri was already abandoned when the final eruption began. What followed did not drive people away, but erased the city they had left behind. Around 1600 BCE, the volcano on Thera entered a catastrophic eruptive phase. Pressure that had built beneath the island was released in a sudden and violent sequence. The eruption ranks among the largest volcanic events in human history. Its force reshaped the island and altered the surrounding Aegean environment within hours. Explosive blasts sent ash, pumice, and debris high into the atmosphere. Thick layers of volcanic material began falling directly onto Akrotiri. Roofs collapsed under the weight of accumulating ash. Streets, courtyards, and interiors disappeared beneath rapidly deepening deposits. The harbor that once sustained the city was destroyed or buried. Maritime access, essential to Akrotiri's survival, ceased to exist. Powerful tsunami waves followed the eruption, spreading across the Aegean basin. Coastal settlements far beyond Thera felt the impact. Within a short span of time, Akrotiri was completely buried. The city was not damaged beyond repair, but removed from the surface entirely. After the eruption around 1600 BCE, volcanic ash sealed Akrotiri beneath the surface of Thera. This burial preserved the city instead of destroying it completely. Walls, floors, and interior spaces remained locked in their original positions. The city was frozen at the exact moment daily life stopped. Unlike cities destroyed by war or fire, Akrotiri shows no layers of repeated rebuilding. There is only a single horizon of ash separating life from silence. Furniture, storage vessels, and architectural details remained where they were last used. The absence of human movement turned the city into a time capsule. Nothing in Akrotiri suggests a long period of decay before burial. The transition from functioning city to preserved ruin happened abruptly. This sudden preservation distinguishes Akrotiri from most ancient cities. What survived was not memory or legend, but physical evidence. Akrotiri did not collapse in stages over time. It crossed directly from daily life into complete stillness during a single catastrophic event. If the population left before the eruption around 1600 BCE, a question immediately follows. Why did the people of Akrotiri never return to rebuild their city on Thera? Structurally, much of Akrotiri remained standing beneath the ash. The city was buried, not shattered beyond recognition. The answer lies not inside the city, but in the landscape that surrounded it. The eruption permanently transformed the island of Thera itself. Harbors were buried or destroyed, coastlines shifted, and fertile ground disappeared beneath ash and pumice. The systems that once sustained urban life could no longer function. Without maritime access, Akrotiri lost its reason to exist as a city. Trade, movement, and economic circulation were cut off at once. Rebuilding would have required conditions that no longer existed on Thera. What had been a viable city site was permanently removed from the map. Akrotiri did not fail because its systems broke down internally. Its systems were erased when the environment removed every condition required for them to function. There was no period of adjustment or gradual recovery after the eruption. The physical foundation that supported urban life disappeared in a single geological moment. Cities survive through margins that allow adaptation to stress. At Akrotiri, those margins were eliminated instantly. This was not collapse driven by mismanagement or social failure. It was a complete interruption caused by forces operating far beyond human scale. When systems are erased rather than broken, recovery is not an option. Akrotiri became a city without a future the moment its environment changed. What remained was not a failed society, but a record of limits being reached. Akrotiri stands as evidence of how quickly functioning systems can be removed. Not every civilization disappears because it mismanages its resources or institutions. Some are removed when environmental forces eliminate all remaining options at once. Akrotiri demonstrates that advanced planning does not guarantee long-term survival. Stability can exist right up until the moment it no longer matters. The city did not fail through neglect or ignorance. It reached the outer boundary of what human systems could withstand. What remains today is not a legend, but physical evidence preserved by chance. Walls, streets, and rooms still record the final moment of occupation. Akrotiri reminds us that cities are not permanent achievements. They exist only as long as the systems supporting them continue to function. When those systems are removed, even a thriving city can vanish without conflict or warning. Akrotiri stands as a frozen record of that reality.